I have always been into the supernatural. I have been into the paranormal. I have been into, I mean, some might say those two are the same. I don't quite think they are. Um, and I am a big fan of serial killers and cults. Now, if you have not been down the Jim Jones rabbit hole, we can explain it in a quick way. Born in the 30s, didn't have a good life. He was basically brought in by the women of the church. They cleaned him, they fed him, they took care of him. He decided he wanted to be a preacher. He was actually one of the first people to allow African Americans in his church because this was in the early 70s when we were just coming out of segregation. So at first, he was doing good. He was doing good things. He was on the housing committee when he later moved his temple members to California. So, by all accounts, early on, he was okay. Long story short, people start questioning things he was doing in California. They kind of got wind of things like RAP and abuse of children in a nasty way. Depends on who you talk to. Every account's different. But he decided to buy land and build his own city, a utopia, if you will, in a little country called Guyana. Now, people that went there, they ended up going after they cleared it. They built houses. It was literally like they went in the middle of the jungle. They cleared out trees and they were like, we're going to live here. And you had to get like a truck from the airfield here. I mean, it was crazy. It's literally in the jungle. And people say that some of them realized they had made a big mistake whenever they landed because there were armed guards. Okay, and this was like free love and God and everything. So, why are there people with machine guns? Okay, and then they started taking their passports. Now, I don't know about you, but if I went to a foreign country and some guy with a gun took my passport, I would be scared out of my mind. So, and you have to understand, whole families went. There was one family, and it was a mom and a dad, and I think a mother in law, and two daughters, and a son. And basically, they ended up, some of them got killed. So, it was supposed to be like a great place, you know, church, living off the land. No, no. These people were given rice and milk every day at 6 a.m. for breakfast. Then they had to go work all day. Even the children, okay? We're not talking just the adults. We're talking the kids were doing hard labor. So then you get done in the evening and you think, oh, it's like 10, 11 o'clock. You eat. Sometimes you would get milk with rice. Sometimes you would get gravy with rice. And they would basically think that they were going to get to go home and go to bed. No. Because by this time, Jim has started doing uppers. He had started doing a lot of drugs. And that is why you will see in a lot of his videos and a lot of his pictures from Guyana, he has sunglasses on. In the beginning, he didn't really do that. So I guess you could say this is why I like studying these things, because I want to know what sent him over the edge. What sent him in this, you know, going from being the first person to allow African Americans in the church to whipping people, forcing on people, you know, what happened? Or was that his plan from the beginning? You know, sometimes I think maybe, you know, people have said when he was a kid, he was very weird. He would have funerals for like dead animals, and at one point he supposedly shot one of his friends and was like, don't leave me. So I think he maybe had an abandonment issue. But anyway, That's why I want to gather evidence and I want to bring it to you guys so you tell me what you think. And basically, somebody found out that there was a lot of bad things going on in Guyana. A woman actually wanted her son back from Guyana, so she filed it in court. They granted it. Congressman Leo Ryan went with an NBC News crew and his secretary to Guyana. Before they got there, Jim was telling them, "We're all going to pretend like we're happy, and if they already knew. Don't pretend like you're not happy because you will get your beat." So they came, they invited them, they had brought meat and vegetables and made it look like, this amazing place. You watch the videos and it's so haunting because some of those videos you see people for the last time. Like that is the last time their family ever saw them alive. And that is so, so sad to me because in the end, the congressman left the next day. And when he was leaving, the family I told you about came to him and said that they wanted to leave. So Jim tried to talk them out of it. And the dad was like, no, we are leaving. This is not okay. This upset Jim because he was losing control, and he knew he was losing control, and he knew if these deflectors, as he called them, would go back home, they would tell all the dirty little things he was doing in Guyana. So Jim decided to pretend to let them go. They all got to the airstrip. They were loading onto the plane. And Jim sent his armed guards and they shot and killed Congressman Leo Ryan. His secretary survived. They killed the NBC cameraman. They killed a few other people. One of the reporters lived. And just go watch the videos because the NBC camera was literally rolling and it fell and you see the men shooting people. It's crazy. So basically, they shoved everybody in the airplane and they were like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And they went back to the United States, and Jim knew what was coming. He knew that there was nowhere else to hide, that they were going to come. And he says he was kind of egotistical to me, and he recorded everything, like all of his sermons and everything. And he basically said, if we can't live in peace, let us die in peace. And that puzzles me too because he had ordered cyanide and proceeded to tell everyone they were going to come and that they were going to disrupt them and that they needed to kill themselves. And in the recordings, you can hear mothers crying, you can hear babies screaming. There's one little girl and you can hear her saying mama over and over, and it is so gut-wrenching. So even as Jim is hearing all this, and this is people that he claimed he loved, he's ordering this to happen because there were a lot of people that were actually injected with the cyanide. And cyanide poisoning is not quick. It is very slow. It deprives your blood of oxygen. So you would suffocate. People were convulsing. There were a few people that managed to run into the jungle and they hid for days. Even the daughter of the guy, the family I was telling you about, she hid in the jungle with a couple other kids for 4 days. And when they found them, they were sick, they were hungry, they were dirty, they were thirsty. And they had seen all these people get shot. The girl actually described seeing her mother was one of the ones shot at the airplane, and she said the top of her mother's head was gone. So these people were so barbaric. And in the end, Jim Jones decided to take the coward way out. And again, depending on who you talk to, he was shot. Now, if that was self-inflicted or done by somebody else, we may never know. I don't know. But you have to dive into the story because I haven't even scratched the surface. I mean, there is like, he was one of those preachers that deals with snakes at one point. He, you know, drugs, sex, the CIA. I mean, mind control. I mean, it is just wild. And I have watched a lot and studied him a lot. And since I found out I'm going on this paranormal investigation, I have been studying more and I'm finding out more. I mean, it's just layer upon layer of just insanity. So, with that, I hope you guys like, subscribe, comment. Please let me know what you would like me to do Friday night. It is his boyhood church. You know, I'm a firm believer in your childhood sets you up for adulthood. So I'm curious to see. I know a couple of groups have went there and done paranormal investigations and they've got Jim on their devices. So I am super psyched. It's like mixing two of my things that I am most interested in. And I do want to say that rest in peace to all of those that died. In total, 918 people perished with cyanide poisoning, and over 300 of those were children.